G'day, mate. Oh, yeah. How's your mum? Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Forex.Today, the YouTube community of almost 20,000 foreign exchange traders. We gather here today to conduct technical and fundamental analysis with the overriding goal of helping you plan your trades. Let me remind you that trading is risky. It's not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, cheer up. It's not necessarily indicative of future results. Please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, never risk money you cannot afford to lose. Hello, my name is Wayne. I'm a currency trader just like you. I like currencies and I also like commodities. I'm a macroeconomist, trend trader. So I try to find economic reasons for the trend, and then I use technical analysis to confirm or deny the market conditions for trading, and then ideally trade in the direction of the trend. Yeah. Sometimes there's counter trends, but nonetheless. So ask questions, get involved, let me know how I can help, and I will share. There are 6,000 YouTube videos associated with my work. Most of those are 1 hour long. I think you can do the math. There's a lot of resources that are available to you for free. In fact, in the description below today's video, you will see there's a link to a free Forex training course on the YouTube channel for FX Bootcamp. You're like, what's the URL? Hey, why don't you try youtube.com/FXBootcamp. Also in the description below is a link to my book if your modality is reading. I wrote that a long time ago, and everything is still valid. In particular, you'll see like 1/3 of the book is related to how to journal your trades properly so that at the end of 1 year you'll have 4x, 4 times the experience. So imagine getting 4 years of experience in 1 year. It's possible, bro. Technical analysis, fundamental analysis, it's all good. Also in the description below the video, you'll see a link to tradersway.com. I believe they're an ethical, trustworthy foreign exchange broker. I also believe they have fast execution speed. I got that from a third-party source. They're faster than most because they don't have 20 million retail traders on one server. They also have narrow spreads, very competitive fees. I don't see slippage. I don't believe they trade against their clients. I learned that through the Swiss National Bank debacle. I know the brokers that went out of business, and I also know they did slip their trades on purpose. It was in their algorithm. How do I know that? They were fined by the National Futures Association. So anyways, Traders Way is trustworthy, ethical. They earn my loyalty and respect. If you open up a demo account, maybe they'll earn your loyalty and respect. And maybe you'll fund it one day when you have the confidence in your skills to trade real money. You'll already have a service provider lined up for your successful small business, what we call foreign exchange trading. Today, let's go through our charts. We'll start with the shorter term indices. Dollars all over the place. Swissy is giving back. Euro is strengthening, yen is still weak, pound is still weak, Aussie is still neutral, and CAD is giving some back. Taking a look at sort of a longer point of view, dollar has leveled out, yen is ripper weak, pound is ripper weak, and euro is rebounding. This is a technically important rebound. I'd even argue the same thing with the Swiss franc. Taking a look at dollar pairs first. Okay. If you are a bull on this, you might want to look at this area. If you're a bear, a little difficult. So bears are hoping for this. That's a big ask. On the shorter run, this is what's in play. Okay, looking at piggy, piggy has hit the target. This is a daily point of view, but it should be said because you don't know where you're going to go if you don't know where you've been. We double topped on an M3. The target when you hit M3 as a top is right there. So we have hit our target. One of the things I have outlined on this chart is the potential for a pullback into that direction. Okay. Andre asks a question. I don't know who that is or what that is. All right. Looking at Kiwi dollar. Okay. We had a massive up move. Hit target. Counter trended. Pulled back. Okay. And now is in a new trend. Retail traders are heavily long Kiwi, but institutional traders are rolling it over to the short side. Codename RINs are terms like M3, etc., explained in detail. Absolutely. Hours and hours and hours of it, yes. Absolutely. Okay, looking at this, it's very similar to the other pair. I think it was Aussie we saw. We're going through a consolidation mode. And bulls on this pair are thinking this. Okay, we're at an important juncture here in which we are testing the 4-hour 21. You want to look at the daily 21, and it's quite a bit higher. So plan B, so that plan A is bulls are going to try like a double bottom type thing. Bears are looking at this and they're looking at this. So I could get knocked out, of course, and then we're probably looking at that. Cool. Let's focus more specifically on Great British Pound. Okay, we did that one already. Okay. This is one that we were focused on yesterday in the day trading group. And I used this to show selling into the ribbon. We're not in a ribbon right now. So at some point you would expect some up and then continuation. Okay. Right now the green zone is in control. So somewhere there. Oh, look, I already got it mapped out. Okay. So it could be up for till non-farm payrolls and down next week. I highly recommend the boot camp. I've been in a few weeks and it will absolutely blow your mind. Awesome. Right on. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. You're talking about a life's work. And not just, almost 20 years of putting together the courses, but more than 20 years of trying to figure it out on my own. One thing I can guarantee you is I didn't learn from other gurus and just rehash what other people said. I know for a fact that there are gurus out there. There are gurus out there that I've taught that are now gurus. And if you listen to their stories, they sound a lot like my stories. But what I can promise you is I actually remember the stories from life, not from a past guru who lived his life or her life. All right. Bup, 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 bup. maybe, I don't know. Okay, we got to look at that. That's again technically important. Take a look at a bigger time frame. And you get rid of this. Okay, and this is kind of like where the ribbons come in, because I'm really like, let me try it this way. What I'm really doing is I'm looking at the distance, the angle, what I call the angle and separation between these moving averages, as the sell zone. So one thing that we do know is that in a downtrend there are up periods. Oh yeah, look, this pair did nothing for 2 weeks. Uh-huh. Yeah, Maida knows. Maida sent me an email. She saw what some other guru on YouTube doing his thing, and she's like, "You remember this guy? He was a boot camper." And now he goes through, and if you watch it, you're like, "That kind of sounds like Wayne." So, anyways, to each his own. Well, at least to him, mine, but whatever. My book is fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So that's what I'm looking at here is, I believe retail traders get lost in this. And this type of period is where you lose a lot of money, if I were to guess. I've known a lot of traders over the years. So what happens is, typically a retail trader gets into something late and they start making money sort of in here, and then they lose money, and then they buy, and then they lose money, and then they sell, then they lose and ultimately the only thing that actually happened, and maybe this rings true with you or not, I don't know, the only thing that really happened was this. So you got to be careful. Many traders lose sight of the forces that are in force. The forces that are in force. But you know what I mean, right? Why is CAD strongly correlated with oil? CAD exports. Okay, so nominal GDP is equal to C plus I plus G plus exports minus imports. This is a measure of consumer spending, business spending, government spending, and foreign spending, spending by foreigners. Stuff you export minus the stuff you import. So it's either a positive or a negative integer. In this case, Canada exports more than it imports, so that's a positive number. So think about this, okay, Kalebo? Canada exports oil. We'll call this CAD nominal GDP. Okay, or actually the way you would write this is CAD. Okay. They export oil in exchange for Canadian dollars. So oil leaves Canada, but then foreigners buy CAD and send that to Canada. So Canada's exporting oil and importing CAD. CAD imports. And that pushes up the value of the Canadian dollar because the foreigners are the ones buying the CAD. Okay? So again, Canada's exporting oil and importing Canadian dollars. They're exchanging oil for money. I mean, you can negotiate and say, hey, Canada, can I pay you for your oil in wheat? And they're like, we already got wheat. Oh. What about gold? No, we already got gold. How about nickel? Nope, we got nickel. How about lumber? Nope, we got lumber. How about low quality television? Nope, we already got that. Okay. Okay. Well, Claybo says we export oil and import. Okay. Well, so if you're talking about the USA buys all the Canadian oil. And right now, okay, exports minus imports. Well, right now as of this week, because, I know this stuff, Canada or the United States imported more than they exported in oil. So Adam says, why do they import oil from Canada as it has enough of its own? It does not have enough. Okay, Adam? Again, I track this stuff on a regular basis. Even with the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, which is at least 7 million barrels a week, okay? That's the stuff you're not supposed to touch. Even with that, the United States is importing from Canada. The M is up. The United States is way below. So, by the way, thank you for asking all these wonderful questions. Tomorrow is the learn how. What is it called? How to Trade Oil, the Energy Complex Made Easy. We're in lecture 9 now. And so tomorrow I'm going to go over demand and supply side analysis and how that and the sort of the creation or the resulting seasonality of this energy. So these are good questions. If you have $250, I'll make you an expert, which means if you signed up today, there's probably 14 hours of lectures that you need to watch to catch up. Think of it, for $250, you'll become an expert in the energy complex. I'm telling you, for $250, you can become an expert. Yeah, just like that. That's not even the price of one textbook in one class, even if your class was free. Okay? The class I did at Harvard, I'm guessing was probably somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000 plus the textbooks. Claybo says, I'm interested. Is that on your site? It's in the description below the video. Okay. So anyway, so I'm going to cover all of that. It's terribly, terribly, terribly interesting. We're getting very close where we're getting to the point where I'll teach you the technicals of trading oil. Okay. Justin says, I'm in the boot camp too. It's the bee's knees for real. That's cool. Yeah, I like sayings like that. I once was insulted by a client, a customer, for back when I was doing startups, before I was a venture capitalist. I was running a startup. And it's tough, man. It's tough when you have a young company. Everything's a hustle, right? You got your grand plans, but boy, you got to make money in the beginning, and everything is a cold start. Everything is a challenge. We don't know you. This technology is new. I've never seen this before. All these challenges, right? And anyways, I think we were renewing a guy for his second year of service, and he hated it. It was just a bad experience for him for whatever reason. And so anyways, he was on the phone with one of my team members, and then they're like, they had to bring in the boss. So I grabbed the phone and I continued the meeting, and this guy just wouldn't renew. And he's like, you could take your company and shove it up the ass of a gnat and still have room for tables and chairs. And I just thought that was the funniest thing. I just couldn't stop laughing. But I can also tell you, about 6 months to a year ago, I think only about 6 months ago, I used my own service. So you got to remember, this is year 2000, year 2001. Year 2002 maybe. I left that company because it was already successful. It wasn't a startup anymore. And so I moved on .com. Don't worry, I left with stock options. Don't worry about me. And so anyways, so here it is, like 20 years later, the company is still in service. And I talked to a client and he loved it. He said, it's so good. I love this. I love the company. I can tell you that felt good. 20 years later, a company that I was like ground floor, we were working out of an apartment. And the client was super happy, paying a big money for it too. How cool is that, huh? But how about that? You can take your company and shove it up the ass of a gnat and still have room for tables and chairs. So, just killer. Okay, anywho, there's the journey down memory lane. Thank you for going on that journey with me. Let's do, the big one here is pig. I already got my line set up on the daily. Can you see it? Okay, one of the things you'll learn when you join FX Bootcamp, now that we're talking about it, is how to trade inside the wicks. And that's a great wick trade. Okay. So last night when we were about, I don't know, I guess we were about here, I drew this line, and that's for selling. What we don't know is if it's going to make a lower low. It hasn't made a lower low yet. Yeah, Darko, actually, I hired him, I don't know, a year or two later. Probably 18 months later. And then when I left the company, I gave him my job. I used to walk around the trade floor, the sales floor, and I just always loved his voice. I could just walk up and I'd listen to people, and just to see what was going on, just time to time, and just walk the floor. Man, he always had such a great voice. He was such a good person. You could hear it. But he was also on a different level than everybody else. All right, la-di-da-di-da. So yeah, what do we want here? So what we're looking at is and there's a pullback, and now it's ranging, and it looks like gobbledygook, right? And maybe it even comes up to that level, or maybe it even goes up to this level. Okay? Yeah, Darko, at some point, yeah, it wasn't far after, because I think he was with that company for another year after I left. But, you know, he was in the same leadership organization that I was before, so he was already a really smart, talented person. You know, and he had a great education at University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. And the people that he knew mentored me when I was young. Right? And so I know his leadership created leadership that created, you know, helped him become a leader and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, he's, dude, a tour de force for sure. All right. All right. So that's that. What else is going on in the world? So if dollar's going through a weak phase, then these exotics should do well. How about what do I think about news for the dollar? I incorporate it into my fundamental models. Every single piece of news. So this week we got JOLTS, we got ADP, we got NFP. So that gets scored under employment, which goes into my model. We want to look at productivity. You want to look at inflation. You want to look at interest rates. You want to look at capital flow. You want to look at technical trend. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 2 or 3 more things that I look at that goes into my model. Okay. Now, with this being discussed, you know, dollar weakness, and very often ZAR will improve and peso will improve. Do you guys see the, check this out. We were talking about the Czech central bank recently. I think it was last week. How about this? Let me show you something. Hang on. La la la. Hang on now. Let's my Hungarian's no so good. My Hungarian's no so good. Check this out. They're going to raise this to 12%. Well, we were just talking about Czech Republic needing to compete with Poland and Hungary. And Hungary's very, very soon going to have 12% in interest rates. What? Wow. Wowzer. Okay. Zaki is worried that news is going to come out today and jack the dollar up. I'm thinking much longer term. I'm thinking much more trend related. You're talking volatility. Okay. And you're asking me, will the news today change the policy at the central bank? No. Maybe non-farm payrolls. If non-farm payrolls comes out negative 100,000, maybe. Or unemployment goes up, or participation rate goes up because we're losing some people out of the labor force. So let's say it's plus 100,000, but participation rate goes up because the people that lost their jobs were not very productive anyways. So it was a good job loss, right? But whatever, but we're starting to see a decline because we're already seeing inflation rollover. So now the Fed is really watching the other side in the employment because they want employment to come down and to further bring down inflation. And so that's what would matter at this point. Okay? But one news point, Zaki, one news point. That's what you're worried about? One news point? That's a vol trade. Okay, that's a volatility. So it might do something like this. And then by next week, we're doing this. Okay. Anywho, go back to this. Okay. Amazing, right? Beautiful, nice reports here. How funny. That's their press room. Look how many clicks they make you do. Come on now. Okay, there could be some fun reading here. Pitso says, Wayne, how can I manage to be an 8 to 5 employee and become the best Forex trader? Yeah, right. Jim is correct. Join FX Bootcamp, learn how to trade, learn macroeconomics, learn fundamental analysis, learn monetary policy, learn day trading, learn swing trading, learn technical analysis, learn some trader psychology. Meanwhile, join one of the live groups, in particular the swing group, so that you can be surrounded by like-minded people that are practicing. You're not listening to me preach. Although last week I spoke for 3 hours. Usually what we do, depending on which what part of the month or quarter we're in, much of the time we're doing group work. So you get to meet other traders. You get to talk about the issues at hand with other traders. Many volunteer to present their trade plans and get feedback from me. So it's highly, highly, highly interactive. And if you're a swing trader, if you have an hour a day, a half an hour a day, you can put toward Forex, it's enough. Swing trading is perfect for those that have a regular day job, because inside that half an hour, you can set up day trades and you can set up swing trades. Yes, Darko is still following his passion for exotic dancing, and he's a currency trader. He can do both. There's no reason he has to give up exotic dancing. He can do both. Anyways, look at all this great information. Anyways, so how about that? Soon pick up, right now picking up almost 11. Okay. So if you're going to develop a carry portfolio, I would probably say that's down the line. Maybe a carry portfolio is next year and the year after. Yeah, Darko knows. It's all in the hips, isn't it, Darko? It's all in the hips. Let's take a look at commodities. Okay. Zoom in a little bit. Oh, I reset this because I had the other template going on. I guess I'll just adjust it. All right. So again, going back to the question, if you have a full-time job, can you still become a successful trader? Well, Monday, that's the sell, and Tuesday, that's the sell. Last night in the day trading group, we were right here talking about selling. Also, we were up here talking about selling. And then while it was going up, we were talking about selling. But you don't sell when you're stepping up, you sell on your step down. So anyway, so we're looking at gold from last night. Okay, the target is, I might not be a smart man, but I know what the target is. Okay, that's the target. And you're like, Wayne, it's slow as molasses on a cold Georgia morning. Oh yeah, well, I know. Okay. Now, the bigger target, as you can see, I already have it on the chart. Okay. Now, I have to adjust because I made this target a week ago. You're welcome. The new target is actually slightly lower because we got the bearishness that we were planning. Okay. So now we're talking 1680. And the Bitcoin. Okay. Bitcoin. Okay. Up, 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 up. And we're now in the likely down, down. So for those that are worried that we're going to drop below 20,000, technically it will probably happen. Okay. Down, 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 up, up, sell, down, 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 up, up. And last night we hit the sell. Good night, sweetheart, but it's time to go. Okay, and that's a risk off. If that falls, dollar's probably going to get strong as well. That's one word, a swell. Seasonally adjusted data and chart pack. That sounds hot. Oh, I don't want to do the whole thing. Thank you for this link, though, Darko. I'll go through it. Hungarian balance of payment and international investment positions. Oh, my God. Isn't that nice? Just so nice. What a wonderful world we live in, huh? All right. Well, have a wonderful trading day. Or should we do yens? Let's do yens. Let's do yens. Come on, let's do some yens. Okay. We're at the Ikimuku Nuku Nuku. Okay. Got to climb through that. Look at the lagging moving average. So what I'm hoping to see is somewhere around here, we'll get the new up and then the roll reversal. Do 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 do. Hey do boo boo. Okay. Pig giving back, huh? Right on the sell pivot. We're pretty gosh darn close to it. These guys are just stuck in the mud. Stuck in the mud. Okay. I have it based on trending, but you have to understand what I'm doing here. If it was a trend, it would have done something like this by now. Not necessarily the high, but at least going up. And you can see it's 7/8/6. Okay, so in the training course, it tells you that you're going to struggle to make the higher high. So really what I'm showing here, what I'm showing here is not the trend, but the lack of trend. Okay, so that'll give you an indication of what's going on in that world. Swissy's given a lot back. You can see today's day trade or yesterday's day trade setup had no follow through and now has collapsed. My oh my WTI. Okay, what is this? Okay, this is the best bullish buy you could hope for. And this area here is where whoever bought this is supposed to take profit. Okay. And now we're back into the range. Once again, retail traders are heavily long. Heavily long on New Zealand dollar. And institutional traders are rolling over from long to short. Somebody's wrong. Did we do this one? Not quite yet. Once again, testing the top. That's also, by the way, you see it right here? If you're a bear and you want to sell the dollar and buy the Japanese yen, that's your trade. If you're not a bear, it's probably going to look something like this. Worst case scenario, that. Cool, right? So if you're in my day trading group, I will see you tonight at 7 p.m. And if you're in my day trading group, you will trade with Ryan at 2 a.m. Okay. Claybo says yen not weak fundamentally because of low rates. Yes, it is incredibly weak. I think the yen is at an all-time level of weakness. Okay, so that's that. But also what's going on likely, and I didn't cover it today, but you can just take a look at the Bank of Japan's quantitative and qualitative easing through the use of yield curve control. And I have a particular strategy for that. Peace on earth, may the pips be with you. May